It's a Good Friday today. Good Friday, not the holiday Good Friday, but in general, Good Friday. Lots of good stuff to talk about.
It's a Victory Friday.
Victory Friday, even though there was no football or baseball on Thursday, we still have
a lot of victory to talk
a
about.
lot of victory to talk about. Yeah, Phillies getting it done, clinching the NL East.
Yeah.
First team in
MLB
this season to clinch. So
yeah, to clinch their division.
Get that out of the way, thankfully.
And they seem to have locked up the 2 seed, which
unless the Brewers go on a slide and we start winning our last couple of games, but for the most part, I think that they're going to get the 2 seed.
Most likely, that's
barring a collapse
gonna happen. Yeah,
and the Dodgers somehow tie our record with us. Well, we have the tiebreaker because we won the season series.
Even though I'm pretty sure the Dodgers have a pretty rough schedule coming up too, so I don't even think that
they got to play San Francisco, who's obviously still in that hunt.
They got to play the Mariners last season of the series.
Yeah, like they're playing playoff teams in the hunt, and they're still trying to fight for the division as well as the Padres.
I'm pretty sure that the number 2 seed is pretty safely locked up for the Phillies at this point.
Yeah, I'd agree so too. But no, that was that game. The clinching game was just a classic Phillies game right there.
Who would have thought that the guy to give the team the lead in the top of the 9th would be the guy with like a 100-something batting average on the entire year, played in probably a total of like 30 games? Like, how many games has Rafael Marchand played in? Like 30 probably? And he comes up in big spot, 2 outs, and hits a little kerplunker off the top of the wall, skips over, and
home run.
All of a sudden, Phillies have the lead after being down most of the game, and
they end up pulling it out. 5 no-hit innings by Ohtani.
Yeah,
that game, and then in the first game, they were down 3-1, and then there was a double by Otto Kemp.
Yep.
A single by Bryson Stott, and Weston Wilson hit a home run. So, like that bottom of the lineup.
Yeah, the bottom of the lineup continues to
contribute. And
that's what you need in, these tough games at the end of the season.
Yeah, especially going into the postseason, you just can't be relying on Schwarber, Harper, and Turner. You're going to need everyone to contribute.
Especially that you have, the thing that I like about this so much is the fact that you had your whole left side of the infield go down, including the replacement for the original guy that went down in Edmundo Sosa. All 3, him, Trey Turner, and Alec Boehm, all end up on the IL, and yet they still somehow find a way, beat one of the best teams, if not the best team on paper in baseball, in the LA Dodgers in a 3-game series. They're still able to pull it out.
Yeah, they're still able to. That bottom of the lineup is going to hopefully produce a lot in the postseason. I'm going to rely on Schwarber and Bryce and Trey the most, but, I'm going to rely on Bryce more than Otto Kemp to
obviously
get a double or something.
And you're going to be looking for Harper to have his signature moment at some point in the playoffs, and it does seem like he is starting to get back into that clutch groove that, Bryce so well for. That's one of his hallmark, baseball attributes is coming through in the clutch.
The showman.
So the fact that he had that home run late in, the first game, he had the double late, I think in either the 7th or the 8th inning in the second game to tie it up again. So he's coming through in big situations at the end of the game. That's what we're used to seeing with Bryce Harper. We've grown accustomed to seeing that, but it's something we haven't really seen a lot of the past couple of months, I feel like. It's kind of been more taken over as Schwarber's mantle to come through in the clutch scenarios. Over the past couple of months, when it's 7th inning, you're down, who's the guy that's usually getting the big hit in these scenarios? It's been Kyle Schwarber the past couple of months. So if you're able to get Harper setting up into that groove to take that, moniker kind of back from Kyle Schwarber and just let him worry about hitting dingers, which doesn't seem like he has a problem really doing anyway. But if you got both of them coming through in clutch moments, that's going to be extremely important in the playoffs. And not only do you have him coming through in important moments, you also have some of these unsung guys coming through in important moments, you know?
Yeah, like what we just talked about, Otto Kemp and Weston Wilson.
And those are two guys that are going to be fighting for that last playoff spot on this roster, probably, in Otto Kemp and Weston Wilson.
Because you're gonna
the fact they both came through.
Trey Turner and Alec Bohm back, so that game was back and forth. The Dodgers tied it right as the Phillies got the lead, and then Harper, like you said, hit the home run, and then just 2 outs left, and Duran gave up a home run to tie it. That was a hanging curveball. Nothing you can really do about that right there.
That's why you don't shake off the catcher, man.
Yeah, there was it.
The one time he shook off JT, like the entire time, the entire inning.
His second home run this season. He
and
gave
then
up
boom.
only at Dodger Stadium. And then there was another one. I think it was Mookie Betts batting, and Ohtani was on first. He throws a curveball. Ohtani was running. It's clearly in the strike zone, and it's not called a strike.
Dude, I can't wait for the ABS next year.
Yeah, it was clearly in the strike zone. It wasn't a strike, but he got Mookie Betts to fly out, and then they ended up walking Bryce in the 10th inning, and they were able to get the double steal and the sacrifice fly. And then David Robertson loaded the bases, and then Max Muncy was up, and then he threw a curveball. He clearly went, and they said no swing. And then the next pitch, he grounded out to Bryce for the win.
I mean, David Robertson has been pretty...
Dude, David Robertson, who would have thought that, like, 42-year-old David Robertson coming in to get the division clinching save.
Dude, he's been pretty reliable since he's gotten here.
I know.
Like, I mean, we sit here and we joke about his age, but the old man's getting it done.
No, yeah, he's good. He's doing good.
He's got that something about the water he's drinking or something in his diet has got to be giving him some type of...
I feel like he was...
some type of life.
Pretty good last time with us out here, too, so...
Yeah, every time he's been with us, except for the first time. I feel like the first time he
got banged up, but besides that,
he's been pretty reliable ever since coming here, and you're also getting, a lot of contributions from some of these other guys in the bullpen now that you weren't really getting at varying points throughout the season. But speaking of the bullpen, Rob Thompson said that Romano is going to be throwing a bullpen this week.
Yeah, which I don't know if they're actually... I don't know if they just... if they want to just bench some bullpen arms and just maybe just get him back out there just to throw for a couple of innings.
Throw what, like 3 games?
Yeah, I don't know what they're going to do about that, but I don't see him actually making the postseason roster. There's no way.
I mean, it's a bit concerning because... I do see that, all right, maybe you get him ready to come back for the last 3 games or whatever, 3 or 4 games. But at that point, the dude's got like a 9 ERA. Just shut him down.
Yeah, there's no point for the rest of the year unless
shut him down unless you want him pitching in the postseason.
Which I doubt they're going to want him pitching in the postseason.
Like,
the only reason I could see Romano pitching again is if they want to shut down a reliever or two to get them, rested for the playoffs. Because if they get that bye, they'll still have 5 days rest, and maybe you're on top of that. You're on about like 7 days of rest.
Yeah, so that should theoretically be plenty of rest then.
Exactly.
And do you really need to give one of these guys, one of these bullpen arms, 10 to 11 days off? I mean, there is a little bit of worry there with potentially people getting too many days off with not enough work in and potentially getting a bit rusty, for lack of a better term. But when you have an opportunity to get everyone clicking for the postseason, why do you want to introduce someone into the fray that's not going to be here?
Yeah, he's not going to be
trying to get everyone clicking.
He's not going to be clicking into the postseason,
right?
One bit.
So this might be signaling that they are still considering Romano for the postseason roster. I really hope that that's not the case because I don't want to see Romano in a playoff situation.
I don't think they're going to actually use him in the playoffs, especially in a high leverage situation. Absolutely not.
But I mean, this could potentially signal that they're at least considering it, and maybe he's getting the last couple of games to show whether or not he's actually healthy or not, or if he has a couple of good outings, maybe they'll consider, using him
But
at
the
some
thing is,
point.
he's going to
But
be
I
having
really hope
outings.
not.
If he has good outings, I mean, they're against the Miami Marlins and Minnesota Twins, like
Yeah,
two teams that are obviously
two teams that are out of it.
So
Yeah.
it's not like you're, the Dodgers are the final series of the
Right.
season. You're going to be throwing a scoreless ninth inning against them.
And it's not like he's going to be ready soon enough to face the Diamondbacks in a 3-game series that you have with them to really, get him a chance to go against a playoff caliber lineup. So, it's something that I really hope doesn't happen.
Something to look out for.
But I have a feeling that we might unfortunately be seeing Jordan Romano on the playoff roster.
So
I really hope not. But
I hope not either, man.
I unfortunately have a feeling that might be what is going to happen.
It looks like Alec Boehm's supposed to come back versus the Diamondbacks, which is good.
Now, I don't think he's going to be ready tonight, but I do think that he is flying in tomorrow, because I don't know if he traveled.
I think he was with them in Los Angeles.
Okay.
So I don't know if they're going to do him tonight or tomorrow or
I think
Sunday.
I saw something from Zielecki saying tomorrow, Saturday, would be the more likely of the games that he would come back as opposed to Friday.
That's fine.
So you might not see him tonight. Tonight still might be Otto Kemp at third, but I would imagine tomorrow you're probably going to see Alec Boehm back in the lineup.
The next series, it looks like Edmundo Sosa is going to come back, and then for the final 3 games, it looks like Trey's going to come back.
Right. And whether or not Trey is going to start in those 3 games, I'm not entirely sure.
I would assume he would start because obviously he hasn't played in a while. You want to give him some playing time. Maybe the last game of the season he gets about 2 ABs and they take him out of the game. That's probably what they're going to do with most of the players anyways.
Yeah, I assume them to take the more conservative and safe approach, especially when it comes to Turner with the hamstring.
Yeah, especially with the hamstring. They're going to keep a close eye on that.
Yeah, so if there's any point where a game gets out of reach and they have the opportunity to take him out early, they're probably going to. Or let's say that there is a matchup where Sosa's got good numbers against whoever the pitcher is, the starter, give Trey Turner that day to have Sosa play. And if you need Trey Turner later on in the game, or you feel like you maybe want to get him out there for an inning or two to get an at-bat and play defense, you can do that. But with the fact that it's a hamstring injury, even though he will come back for the last 3 games against Minnesota, I don't know if I expect him to play all 3 games, which is fine. I don't really think those 3 games are going to matter too much.
No, they shouldn't. They shouldn't matter. And then after that, if the 2 seed is secured, you got a whole week to rest up. And
you're going to have at least 5 days.
They're going to be working out during that time anyway. So.
Right. And, it'll be nice because it'll just be a little break mentally, I feel like, for the players, not only for, their own sanity, but a break mentally where they can just sit there and be like, all right, let me focus on my recovery for a couple of days. I don't have to worry about getting prepared for doing this or that up until, about 4 days from now. So let me take this time to really, clear my head, get healthy, relax, spend some time with my family, and then get ready to go back out there.
If the season ended today, they would play the Mets or the Dodgers.
Yeah.
And obviously you don't want to play them. Nobody wants to play the Mets again.
I mean, I'd be more willing to play the Dodgers at this point, I feel like, than the Mets.
The Mets have our number at Citi Field, but we have their number at Citizens Bank Park.
If they do play the Mets, if they have home field advantage, they should win. My only thing is it doesn't seem like they can buy a victory up at Citi Field, and the Mets have won a couple of games here at Citizens Bank Park. So that's the only thing to
they can win
be worried about.
Bank Park, but
is the Mets can definitely steal one here, but we don't seem like we can steal one up at Citi Field.
And we play genuinely good against the Dodgers, I feel like.
Yeah, for the most part, the past 2 to 3 years, we've played the Dodgers pretty well. I feel like we've won most of the games against the Dodgers that we've played. feel like we've definitely won every series against the Dodgers over the past few years. I mean, my memory might not be super
No, I
reliable
feel
on
like
that,
we've won
but
series versus the Dodgers these past couple of seasons,
yeah.
especially at home.
So they're not this, juggernaut, unbeatable team, and they've shown, throughout the entire season they're not. They're only the three
We could
seed.
definitely get to them, and we can get to their bullpen too. Maybe
Yeah.
not the starters, but we can definitely get to that bullpen.
Only thing is the further they go into the playoffs, the potentially more healthy their starting pitching and the rest of their injuries get, and as more players become available, they're going to get harder to beat.
Exactly.
So you kind of want to see them earlier as opposed to later if you are going to see them in the playoffs.
And I expect if we were to see them, it probably would be until the NLDS.
Yeah, it'll probably be the DS if we do see them. I do imagine they're going to, get past whoever is the final seed for the playoffs, whether it be
the Mets
or the Reds or the Giants or what's the other team that's in it right now as well?
The Diamondbacks.
The Diamondbacks.
See, that's what I'm worried about. Like, what if because the Diamondbacks are not that far past the Mets. The Diamondbacks are only 2 games out. What if the Diamondbacks win the series versus us? What if they win 2 out of 3 and the Mets lose their series versus the Nationals? I mean, they're right there tied for the final wild card. The Mets somehow don't make the wild card. That'd be very impressive.
Yeah, the thing that stinks is whoever is that last team that's going to make it in is seemingly a team that has, upset this Phillies team in the playoffs, either last year with the Mets or the year prior with the Diamondbacks.
Yeah.
The only way that someone's going to get in without some PTSD attached to it or without some, horrible memories attached to it is the Reds.
Yeah, the Reds or the
even
Dodgers.
if the Giants were to make it, there might not be any recent PTSD with the Giants, but we never win whenever we go out there.
Exactly. It's the same like in New York.
Giants always play us tough. And I remember when I was growing up, losing to the Giants in 2 different playoff series and them going on to win the World Series when we were probably the better team and should have won those series. Back when, we had the 4 aces and, well, this was actually before Oswalt came, but when we had, Lee and Halladay and Hamels and we lost that year to the Giants, they beat us in Citizens Bank Park that season. I think it was 6-game series. They beat us 4-2, and we had lost to them in 2010
was the Giants,
I believe. Yeah.
Because that was the first World Series that they won.
And then 2011 came around. We lost to the Cardinals.
And then after that, we didn't make the playoffs until the World Series.
Right, but I just remember the Giants being a very fickle opponent in the postseason.
We can't somehow get a victory at Oracle Park as well.
I think even the year that we went to the World Series and lost in 2009, we went to a 7-game series with the Giants that season in the NLCS, I believe, before we got to the World Series.
The Giants won't be easy, I feel like.
Yeah, and they always seem to have players that play very well against the Phillies for whatever the reason, Before there was this guy, he was on the Marlins for the longest time and couldn't do anything. And then he went to the Giants and he absolutely killed us in the playoffs. He was an outfielder. I want to say
Renteria?
No, Cody something.
Cody Ross.
Yes. Cody Ross, that's who it was. That dude. He spent 7 years with the Marlins, wasn't able to do anything with them, goes to the Giants and had 3 home runs against us in the series, 2 of them at Citizens Bank Park. And it's holy crap. Where did you come from, dude? So that's one thing, is I'm kind of rooting for the Cincinnati Reds to be the team that makes it in, because they're the team that...
The Reds with what? The Reds and Diamondbacks are 2 games, the Giants are 3, the Cardinals are 5, so...
And the other thing with the Reds is that they're still a very young team, And I feel like that also plays better into the Phillies, hand with them getting in as opposed to a more experienced team like, the Mets or the Giants that have more veteran leadership. They've been there before. They know what to do. They've been under the pressure of the nerves and all that stuff. Whereas to the Reds, this is all still very new and unfamiliar territory to them. So
yeah, they have a lot of young players.
Exactly.
So.
If they could get in, that would probably make the matchup easier if somehow they were to be the ones that get past and get through and they get through the Dodgers. But whatever team ends up being that 7 seed, I don't really think is going to get past the Dodgers. I'm pretty sure it's going to be an NLDS of Phillies and Dodgers.
I think so too.
Yeah. I don't think the Mets have the bullpen to get past the Dodgers.
The Mets have been fighting all season, pretty much ever since like June for that last wild card spot.
Yeah, so I don't think
if they sneak into the playoffs, I don't think it's going to end well for them.
No, unfortunately, any team that is going to be the 7 seed is probably just going to go and lose in 3 games to the Dodgers. But probably 2 games. They're probably not even going to need the third game.
Yeah, I don't know because it's going to be in Los Angeles too. So.
Yeah. And do you really see the Mets or maybe the Giants I could see pulling one out in L.A.?
Yeah, there's a possibility, but
I don't see the Mets pulling one out against L.A. in L.A.
The Dodgers have so much talent and playoff experience.
But one thing that is kind of nice is it seems like Dave Roberts is kind of losing a little bit of his managerial touch because he made some really questionable moves against the Phillies in that series. Mm-hmm. So even if you do end up facing the Dodgers, there's no guarantee that with all of the great players that they have, they're going to be deployed correctly by the manager. And that's another thing that is probably working in the Phillies' favor is the fact that Rob Thompson seems like he's a better manager that's clicking all the right buttons, and Dave Roberts isn't.
Yeah, because once it comes to the postseason for him, he manages very strict.
Yes.
Very heavy.
Yes. And very
dependent on his matchups. If he'll bring in a starter if he has to.
Yeah. And one of the things that we all know, or at least that we've all seen Roberts do as well in the postseason, is he's not afraid to do the exact same thing where someone's not getting the job done, early hook, maybe throw out a starter at last year they threw Walker Buehler out there. Previous years they had Dustin May go out from the bullpen, even though he's not a bullpen arm. They had
Kershaw going on at some point.
Yeah, they had Kershaw coming out from the bullpen. So
Kershaw's actually retiring after the season.
Yeah, which we almost completely glossed right over that.
Yeah.
And, good for him. Close to
Hall of Fame career.
Probably a Hall of Fame career, I'm going to say.
Yeah, I'd say first ballot Hall of Famer. I mean, he's got over 3,000 strikeouts, Cy Young, MVP.
One of the probably only players that's going to get close to 300 wins again because, people don't really get close to 300 wins anymore.
Yeah, people don't get close to that.
Besides, him, I think the only other guy that could have potentially gotten to it over the next couple of seasons would have been Justin Verlander. Because Verlander's at 270 something, I think, or something like that. Yeah, Verlander said he's looking to
pitch next season after his good second half.
So, we're probably not going to see any more 300-win pitchers.
I don't think.
Or it's going to be a long time before another one comes along.
There's another milestone. Mike Trout's at 399 home runs.
Yeah, only one more to hit 400.
Only one away.
He's been at 399 for a couple weeks, though, I think.
He has, yeah.
He's been at 399 for a while. We thought that Schwarber was at 49 trying to get 50 for a long time. Mike Trout
Mike Trout's been stuck there forever, man.
He's been stuck there for a month. I feel like he's been stuck at 399.
And there's only 9 games left in the season. I'm hoping Trout can get that last home run.
I mean, he's going to play, next season anyway, and another 3 to 4, so he's going to end up getting it, but
obviously, you just want to get it out of the way now.
Yeah, it would be nice to see him get it out of the way before the end of the season. Finish off with that nice rounded 400 number.
Yeah.
And then, be able to pick it up the next season. But before we move on to football, one thing I want to mention real quick, or I want to get maybe your opinion or analysis on. who's going to be the backup catcher on this team in the postseason? Is it going to be Stubbs or is it going to be Marchand?
I don't know what they do, because I know Garrett Stubbs is like the team cheerleader, and I'm not a big fan of Garrett Stubbs, but
I mean, it's not like either of them are going to play.
yeah, it's going to be JT getting in the way, but obviously
it's going to be JT every game.
If JT gets like a sudden injury, then you got to go to one of them. I think it's going to be Rafael Marchand. He's been on the roster for the entire season. Stubbs has just gotten called up as just September call-ups.
Right.
I mean, if they really need to use Garrett Stubbs, he'll be on the taxi squad.
But you've heard everyone in the locker room say how much they love Stubbs, all that. Does Marchand have that same type of pull with the entire rest of the clubhouse?
Yeah, but he's a stupid ass Mr. Vibes over here.
I know. But it seems like the rest of the team likes it.
Yeah, but I can't stand Garrett Stubbs.
They, seem to rally around it a little bit. He's kind of a little bit like Harrison Bader energy. Garrett Stubbs. He's a little wacky and zany.
I agree with that, but like
energetic, he'll jump up and down.
Yeah, but Harrison Bader actually is.
I know he actually has some.
Garrett Stubbs is just putting on his pom poms and dancing up and down to the dugout.
Right. I'm just thinking, why else would they bring him up as part of September call-ups?
Exactly, I don't know.
Because has he played since he came up?
He's been used as a pinch runner, and he came in once during like a blowout.
Okay,
and that's about it.
But that's it, right?
But he hasn't started any games.
Right.
But I do get your point. Like, why would they call him up for September call-ups?
Yeah, why would they? You already know what he does for the team. You already know what his game is. You already know his lack of offensive potential and ceiling.
So yeah, I don't know if they're gonna use Garrett Stubbs. I don't know what they're gonna be like. I don't know if they might do 3 catchers or what.
They could potentially do 3 catchers, which I guess isn't outside of the realm of possibility.
26 people on the roster, so what, you got 3 catchers.
Only thing is you're probably sacrificing a pitcher at that point.
Yeah, but you have
to get 3 catchers.
Jose Alvarado is not going to be pitching. So you have the 3 catchers and JT, Marchand, Stubbs. You have Bryson, Alec, Trey, and Weston Wilson. They're all infielders.
And Sosa.
Yes, that's 6 infielders, so we're at what, 9? 1 DH is Schwarber.
And then you got Kepler,
Castellanos, Kepler, Marsh, Bader, and who's one more outfielder? I don't know. All right, whatever. Kemp's another infielder, so that's 7. So what are we at, like 14? And then 12 pitchers. So it's possible.
It's possible, even though a lot of teams do like to carry the 13 for the postseason, the 13 pitchers.
Because you got this, because they're going to have 6 starters.
Yeah.
And they're only going to use the 3 lefties, Christopher, Ranger, and Jesus.
Yeah, they're not going to use Nola unless they need to.
Unless they actually need to, and they're going to piggyback Walker and Taiwan. That's going to be interesting.
I really don't think that we're going to see Taiwan and Walker in a piggyback situation in the playoffs, just because if it gets to a Game 5, you're probably going to have Christopher Sanchez.
You're going to have Christopher Sanchez.
Throw that game.
If they really need to, if it's the 7th inning and maybe a tie game, they might bring him out. But at that point, I'd rather just have someone like David Robertson or Matt Strahm.
Right. More experienced guys in that position.
Yeah.
Who have handled with it, who hey, give the ball to them in the 7th inning, they're going to get the job done. But
yeah, exactly. I'd rather have someone more experienced. I know Walker Buehler's good in the playoffs, but I think he would only be used as an opener.
Yeah, he would only be used as probably someone to come in, pitch 2 to 3 innings if someone were to get, rocked, or if, someone were to just get a quick hook early because they're at, let's say like 96 pitches and it's like the 5th inning. You might have Walker Buehler come out to finish that inning or to pitch the 6th inning potentially. But
yeah, I could see that happening, but
yeah, aside from that, you're not really going to use him.
That's probably going to be the pitching for the postseason.
Yeah. But just one thing I just kind of wanted to get your opinion on before we move on to the Eagles.
I kind of understand that part with Stubbs and stuff, because I know they rally behind him.
Just because we haven't really talked about, Stubbs being up here really since he's gotten up here.
I don't know what they'll do. We'll have to see. Maybe he gets a couple of starts later in the season, but
just a thought for everyone out there. Don't be so surprised if, even though Stubbs hasn't been here the entire year, he ends up making the playoff roster.
I can see that happening.
Yeah. But time to move on to Eagles talk. We got a nice football week to go over here. 2-0, the Eagles are.
Shoot, man, 2-0.
Getting out of Kansas City.
I didn't think they'd beat Kansas City. That was a very sloppy game. It was another sloppy game.
It was a sloppy game, and I just want to say that my score prediction was not very far off.
No,
I had 24-20, so I was only a total of 7 points off. So, hey,
you did pretty good, yeah.
Let's see if I can, nail the prediction at the end of the show again this week potentially. But first time Patrick Mahomes has ever lost 3 games in a row, man. How do you? What's your take on that?
To the Eagles. It brings tears to my eyes.
Tears of joy to the eyes of everyone probably here in Philadelphia, because as we all know, we don't like Patrick Mahomes.
We don't like
Patrick
Mahomes or Tom Brady or none of them.
No, we do not like, or Travis Kelce. I mean, some of us are probably more fond of Travis Kelce just because he's Jason's brother.
Yeah, I could see that, but
everyone as well.
I don't think a lot of people like Patrick Mahomes down here.
No, there's not a lot of Patrick Mahomes love that you're gonna find around this area, and I'm gonna say that even though the Chiefs are one of the great, teams over the past 5 years, they don't really look like a team that's going to win their division right now.
They don't.
They really don't.
I mean, obviously, they have a bunch of receiver problems with Xavier Worthy and Rashee Rice, but
I think Worthy will play this week, though.
Yeah, they are saying that I think he'll be on a snap limit.
Yeah. Same with, I believe Dallas Goedert as well is going. He was a limited participant in practice today.
That's good, yeah.
So he's probably going to play this Sunday, albeit, as you said, probably on a snap count as well.
But, the Chiefs they're going up against a good defense. That's one thing, too.
Yeah, that is one thing you got to remember.
Next week when they go up against the Giants defense, it's going to be a totally different story.
Yeah, and it's not like the Giants defense is, horrible, but they definitely did not have a good week last week. They did actually have a fairly decent game against the Commanders and against Jaden Daniels, I want to say. But
I don't see them beating the Chiefs.
No, they're not going to beat the Chiefs.
Mahomes also overthrew one of the nobody receivers.
Yeah.
I mean, that was crazy. I mean, he overthrew him by about 10, 15 yards.
Yeah.
Like, oh, goodness.
And that is something we're not really used to, Patrick Mahomes doing. Now, maybe it's just because
I know Mahomes likes to, throw the deep ball a lot. He got a touchdown off of it later in that game, but
he probably doesn't have a lot of work and a lot of rapport with the receivers that are playing, unfortunately,
when
right
Juju
now.
is going to be your number one wide receiver.
Exactly.
It's a totally different story.
And you got some dude that no one's ever heard of that's coming out of the slot and trying to work across the middle, across Zach Bond and Jahad Campbell. You kind of have to take those shots, that aired out shots.
He got most of the completions, I feel like, were to Travis Kelce.
That's always his,
that's his go-to
security blanket.
Yeah, that's his go-to right there.
That's his guy. Has been for the past 9 years.
He was eating up Eagles defense like crazy
up until that last play. Where he just
pretty much got
let the ball go. But
you got to talk about Drew Makuba. He was getting cooked by Travis Kelce and Mahomes that first half. Pretty much, he got bodied by Kelce, and then he allowed Mahomes to run for that touchdown, and then.
Much better second half.
Much better second half.
Couple
tackles.
Yeah, he had a couple
deflection off of Kelce to get that first ever interception, which is nice.
I believe he also had half a sack as well.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah,
him and
Zadarius Smith, who did look really good this first game.
Dude, he looked like he had been here for multiple weeks.
Dude, literally after not even getting signed after the first week of the season and coming out and playing like that.
Yeah, and I feel like he was on the field for a decent percentage of the snaps. I don't have the exact amount of percentage he was out there.
He looked fantastic for his first game.
But I feel like he was probably out there for 50% of the plays?
Yeah, probably.
I
they were talking about him a lot on TV, too.
Yeah, so he's looking like he's probably going to blend right in with this defense.
Defensive line looked much better.
Oh, yeah.
than
And of course, it's
the
always
Cowboys.
going to look much better whenever you have Jalen Carter
Exactly.
actually playing and not, serving a suspension for spitting on someone. But not only did he look good, Jordan Davis had a really good game.
Yeah, Jordan Davis definitely got, past that game against the Cowboys where he was slipping trying to get Dak, and
I mean, he had a couple passes batted down at the line of scrimmage.
yeah, looked really good.
Stopped a bunch of run plays, I feel like. I saw him, whether or not he made the solo tackle or not, he was getting off his block and forcing the running back to at least make a decision on where to go. And he was just very, very good all game.
Moro Jomo getting a sack.
Yeah, Moro Jomo getting a sack.
They were blitzing the Chiefs like crazy. They didn't blitz the Chiefs at all in the Super Bowl, and they blitzed them over about a dozen times.
Yeah,
they were only able to complete, 25% of their first third downs.
And that's not something that you're really used to seeing from the Chiefs.
Yeah,
They're a team that's
and they
usually
went
been
for
pretty good on
4th
third.
and 1 at the 36, at their own 36, and they didn't get it.
That's one of those where you just got to chalk it up
to... That's
to...
just bad play calling right there.
Well, yeah, bad play calling, but also the situation kind of forced the hand. You know what I mean? In normal circumstances, you're not ever going to be going for it on a 4th and 1 on your own 36. But when it seems like your offense has been able to get points for like 4 or 5 consecutive drives, and you're starting to mount one, it seems like you kind of have to see if you can capitalize on that momentum and get that first down there. So that's a bit of falling victim to the situation, the fact that you weren't able to really push the ball downfield very effectively in that second half. You were already trailing. And if it wasn't for that 4th down stop and the Travis Kelce interception 2 drives later, this could have been a very different, football game.
Harrison Butker obviously missing a field goal.
Yeah, that was huge.
Changes the outcome of that game too. Eagles could have gone into overtime or lost.
Yeah, so very, I don't want to say lucky, but very fortunate to get out of Kansas City at 2-0.
2-0, yeah.
And
much more confident going into the game against the Rams. Just a couple more things I want to address. But first of all, Jake Elliott obviously
coming in clutch.
Another fantastic game. 58-yarder, 51-yarder.
250 plus.
So, obviously,
look like Jake is back.
Literally, Jake is back. And another thing was the checkdowns.
Yeah.
A lot of checkdowns. But I've been saying this, that the receivers were covering, the Chiefs were covering A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, like, a lot. Like, they could not get open to save their lives.
The Chiefs have a very good secondary. They've got good cornerbacks.
They were doing really good covering the receivers, and obviously why risk, Hurts throwing an interception when Saquon's, right here in the backfield, dump it off, get a 7 or 8 yard gain, and easy to set yourself up for a first down.
Plus, with the way that Steve Spagnuolo was calling the game, they were blitzing a lot too. When you're blitzing a lot, you kind of have to take those more check down throws, and you don't really have a lot of time for the play to actually develop for one of your guys on the outside to work open from their man, unless they immediately went off the line of scrimmage, So it's nice to see them able to use those checkdowns to get out of, blitzing situations and to make sure you're not losing yards.
Yeah, but they got to figure out a way to get the receivers more open against the Rams. This team is the only team that without a passing touchdown.
And with the way that the Rams play defense, you know that they're going to stack the box. You know that they are typically pretty good on the back end without the pass rush that they have. So you're going to need better play from the passing game, whether or not it's A.J. Brown needs to do a better job of getting open, Devontae Smith needs to do a better job of getting open, Kevin Patullo's got to do a better job of scheming these guys open, or Jalen Hurts just needs to not be so conservative and be willing to let the ball fly a little bit more. It's probably going to need to be a combination of all 4 of those things.
Yeah.
Because the Rams don't have an easy defense by any means.
No, it's another tough defense you're going into.
So it's not going to be any easier as opposed to last week. You're going to have to do something different than I think I saw Tim McManus put out a tweet or a notification saying that A.J. Brown lined up in the same exact spot in between the hashes on 80% of his route runs on passing design plays.
See, that just can't happen.
That you're not going to be able to do that and get away with
it. You're not going to be able to get open,
They know what's coming if
exactly.
that's the case. Like, if you're constantly being in the same exact position the entire game, if you got open on me from this position, off the line early in the game, I've now figured out the way to cut you off from doing that for the rest of the game. You got to find out a way to line up differently.
They got to switch the play calling around.
Yeah. So I don't know if it's a little bit of a combination of the fact that they're being conservative. They don't want to turn the ball over. That's always been a thing with Nick Sirianni.
And I get that. Yeah, obviously they're limiting the turnovers, but
and I do get that in a game like against a team like Kansas City, where you saw they turned the ball over one time. That turnover ended up costing the game,
Yeah, so anything can flip the game around, so.
Right. But I understand the whole messaging of trying to be, conservative in the case of we don't want to give the ball away. And Kevin Patullo in his press conference had said that even if, obviously they want to get explosive plays, but they don't want to get explosive plays at the aversion of potentially creating a turnover or doing something that would increase the likelihood of a turnover to get that explosive play. And you're seeing that with the fact that through 2 games, this team only has 3 plays in totality of 20 yards or more.
Yeah, one of them was to Devontae.
You had the jump ball to Devontae. You had 1 20-yard run by Will Shipley.
And then you had another one to Jahan Dotson.
Yeah, you had that one 50-yard bomb you threw to Jahan Dotson.
So they got to...
Other than that, there's been no plays that have gone for 20 yards or over.
They're going to have to, get out of this bubble of, checkdowns and getting all scared. They're going to have to start getting more aggressive.
And you're not just going to be able to constantly nickel and dime your way down the field. You do have very good offensive personnel where you can have methodical drives, but eventually defenses are going to start to figure you out progressively throughout the game. You're going to have to take shots.
This is a good defense. If they turn the ball over, there's still a chance that they can go 3 and out just like that.
Oh, 100%. You could force a fumble from Kyren Williams because Kyren Williams does have a bit of a propensity to fumble the ball a little bit.
Yeah, and that's why I'm not starting him this week.
He's a little loose with the football, and I'm pretty sure he fumbled last year in the playoffs against the Eagles, and last year overall he had 7 or 8 fumbles.
Yeah, so you gotta watch out for that too.
He's definitely a guy that you could force a turnover off.
Matthew Stafford does like to throw the football a lot.
Yeah, but
and he has good receivers too.
As you said, even though if you force that turnover, Rams defense has been very good at limiting the damage off of said turnovers, which is why they've been in the playoffs, last year and the year before. Whereas opposed to if this defense was giving up points off of these turnovers, that Kyren Williams fumbling the ball and Stafford throwing interceptions, then we would be sitting here saying that the Eagles are going to have no problem taking care of business in this game. But even with all of the things that the Rams tend to do on offense when it comes to turning the ball over, because McVay is going to take chances and his team usually is going to turn the ball over at some point just because he's very aggressive in the way that he goes about calling the offense and the way he has his team play on offense. They're very much about big plays, taking shots, having Puka Nacua do go routes and posts and all that other stuff.
I kind of need Puka to pop off.
Yeah. So. I would like to have Puka pop off a little bit as well. He's on my fantasy team in our league.
Perfect.
But it's probably, I think we mentioned this last week, it's probably going to be a lot of Adoree Jackson on
Puka.
Which
is bad.
Because...
And it's not like he's going to have a better option with Devontae Adams.
Exactly. But the Rams use Puka in kind of the same way that the Cowboys use CeeDee Lamb. They like to move him in motion a lot. They like to play him out of multiple different spots on the line of scrimmage. Sometimes he'll line up outside. Sometimes he'll line up inside. Sometimes he'll be the slot. And if that's the case, they've kind of shown that they don't want to have Quinyon Mitchell going all over the field like that. They kind of want him to stick to his man on the outside and really lock down that outside part of playing in the back end. And if that's the case, he's probably going to be matched up against Devontae Adams a lot. And you're going to see Puka Nacua in motion constantly, running all over the line of scrimmage. And it's going to be Adoree Jackson and probably a version of either Drew Makuba or Reed Blankenship that's going to be the guys covering Puka Nacua. And that's probably not going to work out very well for Adoree Jackson or Reed Blankenship. Even though Blankenship has been good for the Eagles, he's not the greatest in pass coverage, I feel like. He's a lot better at tackling in open space when people have already caught the ball. And he is one of those guys that lays hits and is not afraid to go up and play on the line and more direct other people as to where they should be positionally. But I feel like I've seen plenty of times over the past couple of years Reed get burned in coverage.
Mm-hmm.
Like, constantly.
I mean, he's there for that, pick sometimes, but besides that...
Yeah, he's definitely someone that is aggressive whenever he is in coverage, and he's going to be risk-taking.
They're definitely going to have to, focus more on that pass play.
Yeah, and the way that this, back secondary has been set up so far by the Eagles, it's going
to be a tough game for the secondary
to expose this secondary.
I mean, you're going from Juju Smith-Schuster and nobody receivers to
Puka and Devontae.
Puka Nacua and Devontae Adams, so it's going to be a challenge for this Eagles defense.
Yeah, and even though this Eagles defense has shown that they are still very good, even though they've gotten a lot of new players.
I feel like this is going to be their first real challenge of
this
the
is
season.
definitely going to be a big test.
Yeah.
Yeah. And even though Matt Stafford is old as dirt, that man can still throw for 300 yards.
He can still throw the football still, so he's obviously someone you should be worried about.
Yeah. And then
one more thing, yeah.
You want to talk about Jahad Campbell real quick, or some of the rookies a little bit, or what's the thing you want to get to?
One more thing I want to talk about before we finish is the tush push.
Okay, yeah, you want to go to the tush push? Go for it.
Because it's very sloppy. There was a lot of offsides that weren't called offsides. And,
yeah.
The Chiefs were bitching about it. The league was bitching about it. Adam Schefter was bitching about it. So I don't see the tush push lasting.
Well, you're gonna probably see more penalties on the tush push going forward from here on out.
They're definitely going to monitor it next week, obviously. But I'm worried about, if there's more penalties going towards the tush push, the Eagles aren't going to run the tush push as much now.
Well, one of the things that makes it a bit challenging is the fact that when you're in that tush push lineup, you got all those guys that are down there by the ball.
Yeah,
it's hard to see.
You can't even see where
who's
the ball,
onsides or who's offsides.
You can't see if the ball crosses the plane or
exactly.
not. The refs are acting like, oh, okay, he got it over. It's like you can't even see the damn football.
There's literally so many bodies and just that little tiny conglomerate space 20, in between the hashes.
20 bodies in a little bubble.
Yeah, it's literally almost because you saw with the Chiefs, they had everyone on the defense literally inside the hash marks, except for two people that were corners that were covering on the outside of the hash marks. So that's a total of what? There's 11 guys, so 22 people in between the hash marks. How is anyone supposed to see through the body of limbs to actually see the football or what's going on?
You can't even tell if they fumble it too, which is crazy.
I mean,
you can't see the damn football.
You saw with the one tush push, I forget who it was on Kansas City, but they literally just reached out, grabbed the ball that Jalen had, and then just went to the ground, and the two of them were fighting for the ball on the ground. Luckily, Jalen never lost possession of it, so they didn't rule it as a fumble or anything like that, but you're not always going to be that lucky if you're going to have...
Yeah, more teams are going to start, actively learning, all right, this is how we stop the tush push when we start playing the Eagles this week.
And if Jalen is just kind of going in there like this with the ball, that's leaving it very susceptible to being grabbed by someone by the other team.
He needs to like secure it like a baby.
So I do expect to see maybe a little bit of penalties, but I still think that defenses are going to have a really, really tough time stopping the tush push. And unless you're somehow able to force the ball out of Jalen's hands, you're probably not going to stop him getting the 6 inches that he's going to need.
No, especially when you have that massive offensive line pushing him in.
Exactly. Plus the fact that the offensive line gets, even though it's just that split second of a head start from snapping the ball, that play is all about getting low and using your leverage. The lower man is able to clear space, which means Jalen Hurts is able to push forward and get the yards. If they're constantly able to, have that little split second of window where they're moving and the defense isn't, they're always going to be the guys getting lower, which means they're always going to win. And Jalen Hurts is always going to be able to at least get positive yards out of it. He's never going to go backward. He might not get enough to actually get the first down, but he's not going to lose any yards. Because those guys up front...
Any team rarely stops a touch push.
Exactly. The one time you saw it was the Commanders where Luvu jumped over first time.
He got penalized all that time.
Well, no. Earlier in that game, he successfully jumped over and came up with the stop. I think it was on a 3rd and 1. And they ran it again on 4th down, and they ended up getting it. But that's why later on in the game, Jalen Hurts started to sit there and fake like he was going to do it, and Frankie Luvu kept jumping over the line.
Luvu kept jumping, yeah.
The reason why he kept jumping is because the one time he actually did do it, it worked. Like the one play that he jumped over and he actually snapped the ball.
He kept getting penalized.
Right. So that's why he kept going back to that move, is because the first time he tried it, it worked. But then Jalen Hurts got smart and was like, if you're just going to jump over the line, I'm just going to sit here and not snap the ball. I'm going to make you look like an idiot.
Yeah, I'm just going to hold the clock. So we kept going even closer.
So that is just Jalen pure IQ right there on what to do in that situation and how to really get under your opponent's skin. But it is possible to stop it, even though I don't think you're going to see a lot of people stop it.
A lot of teams rarely stop it, so.
But you will probably see more eyes on it, and because people are going to be watching, the ball a lot more closely on those plays now, you're probably going to see more offsides or false starts or, illegal shifts or things of that nature, where
the refs are going to be monitoring it way more now.
Yeah, it used to just be, oh, here comes the tush push, everyone get ready to just jump in the middle, where now it's probably going to be a little bit more civilized, for lack of a better word to use.
Yeah, that makes more sense.
But yeah, and one thing I did want to mention real quick, John Mechie as a return man. Seems like he's actually pretty good.
A couple good returns, so obviously that's going to be a nice touch.
Yeah, and
someone you can rely on to return punts.
Not someone that I was really expecting him to be a punt returner when he got brought in to this team.
I guess with
like
all the wide
for
receiver depth they have, they could use him as a punt returner instead of Cooper.
Yeah, but pretty good on kick returns. The 3 opportunities he got, he had one return that was 39 yards. So
no, he had a couple of big returns.
Yeah, so. he seems like he's pretty good, solid back there in the return game. So even though they don't have Brenton Covey,
looking forward to see from Mechie.
Yeah, looking forward to maybe seeing some Mechie magic if possible at some point. But yeah,
your score prediction now.
So my prediction is Eagles win this game. Going to be another low scoring game. 20-17.
So you have the same score from last week. Okay.
Yep.
All right. Yeah, that's because I can see the Rams are a tough defense. I finally think that the Eagles will break it open. They'll finally get some scoring. I'm going for a 34-20 Eagles win.
I think that they try to do that, but
they got some turnovers here and there.
There's going to be a turnover in there
I'm waiting for that turnover. It's going to happen at some point.
Yep,
so.
It's going to happen. And Rams definitely have a defense that's capable of forcing turnovers. So even though people want to see them open up the playbook a little bit this week and take some more risks, with that risk-taking comes opportunities to lose the football. I think that's probably going to happen at some point this game against the Rams. They will turn the ball over, their first turnover of the season.
They'll turn the ball over. Hopefully not, but
I do think the Eagles will be able to prevail in the end and come out with the win.
I'm hoping so as well. So hopefully we come back here 3-0, and hopefully the Phillies have that bye wrapped up. So
yeah,
enjoy, guys.